71 days until Election Day.
You gotta fire him. Like on The Apprentice, you fired, you did a lousy job.
Former President Trump is out on the campaign trail, and Vice President Harris will soon follow. The plan to hit the battleground states as Election Day gets closer. Plus, Israel and Hezbollah exchange missiles in one of the heaviest cross-border attacks in months. And it comes as more evacuations are underway in Gaza. What this could mean for the next steps in the Middle East's conflicts and the role of the United States. And it's a small town with a big problem that's predominantly impacting its black residents. In tonight's Prime Focus, we revisit the town of Shiloh, Alabama, after our report months ago revealed problems coupled with the concerns of residents. Now, a federal civil rights investigation is underway to determine whether what's happening there is environmental racism, as the nation's top officials descend on the town. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Ramos in for Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including a deadly landslide also leaves several injured. Why the danger may not be over yet. Plus, the terrifying moment a Cirque du Soleil performer plunges to the ground, the latest on her condition. And actresses Sanaa Lathan and Anjanou Ellis-Taylor tell us how their new movie is helping to expand the depth of storytelling for black female characters. But we begin with the race for the White House. We are 71 days away from Election Day, and tonight, former President Trump is using the 3rd anniversary of the deadly Afghanistan withdrawal to blame Kamala Harris. Trump participated in a wreath-laying ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery this morning. Then the former president headed to Michigan, where he spoke at the annual meeting of the National Guard, vowing to fire every senior official involved, saying, you know, you have to fire people when they do a bad job. Meantime, tonight, the major endorsement for Kamala Harris. More than 200 GOP advisors and alums of George W. Bush, John McCain, and Mitt Romney endorsed the vice president tonight. Both campaigns keenly aware of the importance of those key Rust Belt states. Trump will be back in Michigan Thursday. Terry Moran leads us off from Michigan tonight.
At the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery today, Donald Trump laid a wreath in honor of 3 Marines who were among the 13 service members killed 3 years ago today during the chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. And later, speaking at the National Guard Association's convention in Detroit, Trump made that botched operation and the Taliban's swift takeover a centerpiece of his argument against Vice President Kamala Harris.
Caused by Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, the humiliation in Afghanistan set off the collapse of American credibility and respect all around the world.
Trump declared that if he's reelected, there will be accountability.
We'll get the resignations of every single senior official who touched the Afghanistan calamity to be on my desk at noon on Inauguration Day. You know, you have to fire people. You have to fire people when they do a bad job. We never fire anybody.
At the Democratic National Convention, Harris made it clear she is ready to fend off attacks on her toughness on national security.
As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
Harris has been off the campaign trail since the convention wrapped up, but Trump has been revving up the pace of his campaign. Later this week, he'll travel to Wisconsin before returning here to Michigan on Thursday, telling some of his campaign's volunteers here late today that this critical battleground state could decide the entire election.
If we can win this state, we win the whole thing. We win the whole thing. Well, we're going to win the whole thing.
And Terry Moran joins us now from Detroit. Terry, it seems as though former President Donald Trump is zeroing in on those Rust Belt battleground states, and so is Vice President Kamala Harris.
That's for sure, Stephanie. There aren't that many battleground states. It's a 50-50 country right across the country. And there's no question that these 3 states, right, Michigan here, Wisconsin across the lake, and Pennsylvania past Ohio, those are critical. But so is Georgia. So Kamala Harris, she was in Wisconsin last week during the convention. And she and Tim Walz later this week are going to go on a bus tour of southern Georgia, try to lock up or at least find some more votes in that critical state. Donald Trump, meanwhile, he's going to be back here in Michigan Michigan and in Wisconsin, so you can see the battle is joined. Stephanie?
Absolutely. Critical states, we will see which way they go. Terry, thank you. Now to the deadly storms and the landslide in Alaska as they brace for more. Plus, the torrential rains rushing through the Grand Canyon area. Here's ABC's Mola Lengi.
Tonight, authorities in Ketchikan, Alaska, warning of more mudslides after a wall of earth, rocks, and debris rained down on the normally picturesque city, destroying multiple homes.
This just happened. Tree just went down.
Leah Canfield recording this just after it hit.
I thought it was lightning. Then all of a sudden our house started shaking.
Families forced to flee, some to shelters. Authorities say at least one person was killed, 3 more hurt.
The flooding is only getting worse now.
The mudslides coming after torrential rain swamped the area, nearly 10 inches falling in higher elevations. Recent torrential monsoon rains also to blame for a death near the Grand Canyon. Hikers had to shelter under rock formations while a nearby waterfall was raging. The National Guard aiding the rescue efforts, evacuating more than 100 tourists and tribal community members. 33-year-old Shanoa Nickerson from Gilbert, Arizona was swept away in the floodwaters. She did not survive. Her sister writing, "Shanoa's light will forever be a part of all of us."
Such a sad loss for that family. Mola Lengi joins us now. Mola, let's go back to Alaska. What are they expecting this week?
Well, the threat of secondary mudslides still very real this week there, Stephanie. In Ketchikan, more storms moving in throughout the week could mean more mudslides. So folks not in the clear quite yet, Stephanie.
All right, Mola, thank you so much. Thanks for that update. From landslides to blistering heat waves, temperatures topping 100, the feel-like temperatures as high as 115, and there will be little relief overnight. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z is tracking it all for us. Hey there, Ginger.
Stephanie, tonight's excessive heat warnings come with even more gravity because we just learned from the American Medical Association, a journal called JAMS, that they have confirmed that more than 2,300 people died from heat-related illness in the United States just last year. That is a record number, and a record by a lot. We're seeing more and more people die, even indoors, because they don't have access to air conditioning, or maybe they spend too much time outdoors and they haven't seen this type of prolonged heat. That's why areas that are highlighted on the map there, from Michigan through northwest Indiana, back to St. Louis, much of Illinois, and southern Wisconsin, need to be extra alert. Check on those neighbors. In the afternoons, you're going to see the temperatures rise, and you'll see the feels likes, which your body, can't get rid of sweat because of how much humidity is in the air, upwards of 110 or 115. Overnight lows don't drop below 80 in some places, so there's no relief. And records will keep falling and moving east, like Atlanta close to 100 on Thursday. Look at Washington, D.C. I mentioned those overnight lows. In a place like Detroit, we have seen those rise nearly 6 degrees from 1970. So that's how quickly urbanization plus the warming of our planet has left us. And so more than 2 times faster in the summer, those overnight lows have gone. We're only going to break this up with some severe weather. Damaging winds, the main hazard tonight from South Dakota over to Minnesota. The Twin Cities have 2 ways of getting warnings. And Stephanie, the Great Lakes gets it tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, it moves through Pennsylvania right here to New York.
Extreme weather everywhere. We really have to be so careful, especially in that heat. Ginger, thanks so much. Let's go overseas now to the war in Ukraine. After Ukraine pushed deep inside Russia, tonight, Russia is now slamming Ukraine with the largest aerial assault so far, striking power plants and water supplies. Here's our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell.
Tonight, Russia unleashing its largest aerial attack across Ukraine since the start of the war. More than 230 missiles and drones, many intercepted. Striking critical power and water plants, including this one in Kyiv. These videos verified by ABC News. And here, a Russian cruise missile exploding in a river near that plant. At least 7 killed, dozens injured, including 4 children. The attack coming 3 weeks after Ukraine's surprise offensive inside Russia. We were near the border in recent days.
You can see an American Humvee there heading into Russia and conducted possibly the most audacious operation of this war so far.
But America and allies limiting how far into Russia Ukraine's military aid can be used. President Zelensky today pleading with them to lift the limitations. And amid Russia's relentless assault, residents in Kyiv singing the city's official anthem in the subway. Ukraine bowed, but not broken. Stephanie, no sign the White House is going to lift those restrictions on how far Ukraine can fire Western weapons into Russia. Spokesman John Kirby only saying conversations are ongoing. Stephanie?
Ian panel for us tonight. Thank you, Ian. Now to the Middle East, where tensions are high after some of the heaviest cross-border attacks in months between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. I want to bring in ABC's Britt Clennett, who is in Israel tonight. And Britt, has Iran signaled they plan to retaliate at all?
Yes, Stephanie, an all-out war between Israel and Hezbollah may have been averted for now, but Iran now doubling down on its threats to strike Israel in response to the assassination of Hamas's political leader in Tehran nearly a month ago. Iran's foreign minister says a retaliation is definitive and will be measured and calculated. Now, U.S. General Brown meeting with Israel's defense minister today, reaffirming American commitment to Israel's defense, and the Pentagon saying 2 aircraft carrier strike groups will remain in the region as the threats from Iran are assessed. While it seems these talks we've been talking about are on the verge of collapse yet again, sources telling us Netanyahu will send a delegation to Cairo again this week. Stephanie?
Britt Clennett for us in Tel Aviv. Britt, thank you. I want to bring in ABC News defense analyst and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense Mick Mulroy. Mick, so great to see you. Thanks for being with us. Let's start with those preemptive strikes by the IDF this weekend. What role are you hearing U.S. intelligence may have had in that?
So, Stephanie, it does look like the U.S. intelligence community played a significant role when it came to giving Israel the early warning that these sites were being active. And then, of course, they took these preemptive strikes. The U.S. didn't get involved militarily from a kinetics perspective, but they did get involved from an intelligence perspective. And it looks like it had a pretty substantial effect.
It certainly did. Let's talk about the ceasefire negotiations for a bit. Today, the White House said this weekend's strikes by Hezbollah had no impact on the talks in Cairo and that they are now working on finer details at lower levels. Yet we're also hearing reports that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has been adding new requirements. Are you hearing anything about this?
Well, it does seem to be the case. The U.S. announced that Prime Minister Netanyahu agreed with the bridging proposal, which was the latest proposal the U.S. Presented, and then it was not the case. So apparently he added additional requirements, which I think has frustrated negotiators. But it's something that's so important because not only is it important to have a ceasefire in Gaza, but it also will do a lot to decompress the situation in the region, which does have a risk of becoming a full-scale regional conflict, something the United States is keenly aware of, which is why they have so much military assets in the region.
Right. And Israel has been issuing a fresh round of evacuation orders as well in the Gaza Strip. It's the most since the beginning of the war. What do you read into that?
So it's likely that Hamas is rearming and then reconstituting themselves in certain areas where the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, thought they had defeated them. That's likely the reasons why they're issuing these evacuation orders, so they have to go back in there and they want to reduce civilian casualties. Of course, from the civilians, this is just having to move again, and at this time, they're moving away from one of the few hospitals that is still up and running in Gaza. So it is very difficult for these civilians to keep moving. And of course, it's very difficult for humanitarian aid to keep up with them. So it is a very difficult situation in Gaza right now, even more difficult than it was before this evacuation order.
Yeah, such dire situations there right now. And while the Biden administration remains publicly optimistic on the ceasefire negotiations, the Pentagon is keeping 2 aircraft carrier groups and other resources in that region. What does that suggest to you?
So, Stephanie, it suggests to me that they know that something might be coming from Iran. This is a very difficult decision by the Pentagon. They generally have to rotate these aircraft carrier strike groups back to the United States to refit, refuel, and rest, and then get back out there. To keep them both there indicates to me, as well as General Brown, the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, being there indicates they think something might come from Iran relatively soon, and they need to be able to defend Israel like they did in April 13th when Iran launched over 300 drones and missiles at Israel.
And this is all so interconnected. Talking about Iran, as Britt reported in her report there just a few moments ago, Tehran is still vowing to retaliate for Israel's assassination of Hamas's top leader. What could that look like, and what would that mean for ceasefire negotiations?
So one of the reasons why people think Iran hasn't retaliated for that assassination yet is they don't want to look like a spoiler when it comes to these negotiations. If these negotiations break down entirely, then that, of course, would not be an obstacle to them. If it looks like April, then likely we can contend with that. But if they try to get all their proxy forces, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, believe it or not, from Yemen, who have shown that they can actually strike in Tel Aviv. If they do it simultaneously, so a multi-pronged attack, that could be very difficult even for the Israelis and the United States with the level of military assets we have in the region to contend with. And if they do get through and cause significant damage or loss of life in Israel, this will escalate very rapidly. So I think that is why the Pentagon has spent so much time trying to position forces in the region to make sure it doesn't.
And hopefully it doesn't escalate to that point. So much to analyze, so much to read into. Mick, thank you so much for your insights. ABC News defense analyst Mick Mulroy, thank you. The West Nile virus has now been reported in more than 30 states. Here in New York City tonight, they plan to spray. And one Massachusetts town has taken major steps by closing parks and athletic fields. ABC's Ariel Reshef has more.
Tonight, in the fight against the West Nile virus, trucks from New York City's health department will be fanning across Manhattan and Brooklyn, targeting disease-carrying mosquitoes with pesticide spray.
This is peak mosquito season. Cities are actually prime breeding ground for certain mosquito species.
It comes as the country's former top infectious disease official, Dr. Anthony Fauci, was recently hospitalized with the virus. The 83-year-old is now home and expected to make a full recovery.
Most everyone who gets West Nile doesn't even realize it. They're asymptomatic, but in small numbers of cases, people will experience fever, headache, body aches.
Experts say a hotter, wetter climate puts people in closer contact with more mosquitoes. In Massachusetts, 8 communities, including Boston, are now at high risk for West Nile. And this week, the state will start spraying in some communities to combat an even rarer and more deadly mosquito-borne disease called Triple E. The town of Plymouth now closing fields and parks from dusk till dawn.
And Ariel Reshef joins us now. Ariel, it's important to note those viruses are only contracted from a bite.
Yeah, that's really important to note here, Steph, that this virus, those 2 viruses, can only be contracted from a bite. They are not spread person to person. And a lot of people have been asking about that pesticide spray. Officials say it is low risk, but you can stay indoors to avoid any potential side effects. Steph?
Really important to know. Thank you so much, Ariel. A high school quarterback in Alabama died after he was critically injured during his team's season opener. Caden Tellier went down during the 3rd quarter in what seemed to be a routine play, but the 16-year-old suffered a significant brain injury. ABC's Faith Abube has this story.
Tonight, a family and community shaken after Caden Tellier, a 16-year-old high school quarterback, died following a routine tackle during the first football game of the season.
There are a lot of questions that I know that I have. We need your love. We need your support.
His father, visibly heartbroken, joining students and staff today at a vigil.
Caden was kind. He was compassionate. He loved every person that he encountered.
An official telling ABC News late in their season opener, Caden was tackled to the ground, suffering a critical brain injury. Emergency crews airlifting the teenager to the hospital where he later died. Caden seen here in this highlight reel he posted online. He was a junior and the starting quarterback at Morgan Academy in Selma, Alabama, scoring a touchdown Friday night during the game. His tragic death comes as the new school year begins and football season kicks into gear. The National Center for Catastrophic Sports Injury Research finding that deaths during games are rare. Last year, out of nearly 2 million players from youth leagues to the NFL, there were 16 reported fatalities.
Our thanks to Faith Abube for that report. Singer Mariah Carey confirms her mother, Patricia, and sister Allison both passed away on the same day. The Grammy Award-winning artist's loved ones died within hours of one another over the weekend. In a statement shared with Billboard, Carey wrote, "My heart is broken that I've lost my mother this past weekend. No other details, including Patricia and Allison's causes of death, are known at this time." Caught on camera, a Cirque du Soleil performer was hospitalized after a horrific fall during a performance of Kuza. People who attended the performance in Portland said a Russian aerialist fell from the aerial hoop in her first act. The artist was rushed to the hospital and is said to be in stable condition. She is expected to recover. Cirque du Soleil said she will continue to be monitored by the Kuza medical and coaching team to determine when she can return to the show. Tonight, the space mission that was supposed to be just 8 days now will be at least 8 months. NASA deeming Boeing's test spacecraft too risky for astronauts to fly back home. Trevor Ault has these details.
Tonight, what was supposed to be a week-long space mission now extended into next year. NASA determining it would be too risky for the Boeing Starliner to return to Earth, with astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams after their June test flight to the International Space Station suffered helium leaks and problems with the control thrusters. The astronauts' mission was slated for just 8 days. They've already been in space for 80, and now NASA says they'll remain in orbit until February.
This has not been an easy decision, but it is absolutely the right one.
They'll be flying home with one of Boeing's competitors on board a SpaceX Crew Dragon.
Meantime, right now here at Kennedy Space Center, SpaceX is prepping for a separate launch. The Polaris Dawn mission on its Falcon 9 rocket. You can see it there in the distance. That's set to take off overnight with the intent to become the first private spacewalk ever.
Billionaire Jared Isaacman is footing part of the bill and serving as commander. The mission aims to go further into space than any crewed flight since Apollo 17 more than 50 years ago.
And Stephanie, SpaceX has a launch window from 3:38 a.m. until 7:09 a.m. overnight. If for whatever reason the launch has to be scrubbed, they will try again the following day. Stephanie.
All right, Trevor, thanks so much. We still have much more to get to here on Prime. The new charges for the woman in this viral video that police say shows her hopping a fence at a zoo and enticing a tiger. But next in our Prime Focus, we revisit Shiloh, Alabama, where residents have been trying to sound the alarm about a highway expansion causing flooding in their homes. Since our report, some big names are taking notice. But is it making a meaningful difference? That's up next.
There was a specific moment during our wedding. I looked at Jason and I realized this was real. This was our family.
This is her knight in shining armor.
Everything felt right. All of a sudden, I found this hidden folder. I opened it and I don't think I can say it. I'm sorry. She put her hand to her mouth and gasped. Jason would kill me before he would let me tell anyone this part of him. He's in so much freaking trouble.
I remember just feeling like, what the hell? That was my dad. What is going on?
That's when that fire inside of me shifted to like a flame. I was like, it's on. Betrayal is one of the hardest types of trauma to overcome. He didn't think I had it in me to do something. So I did.
Betrayal, a father's secret. The all-new season, only on Hulu.
It was a regular day for 19-year-old Melissa Witt.
Something terrible had happened to her.
We had several suspects.
All these kinds of leads.
A known serial killer in your area. Could he be involved?
We're actually finding key evidence that could have slipped through the cracks.
Her last hours on this earth were horrific.
This beautiful young girl. Police will find out what happened.
At Wit's End, the hunt for a killer, only on Hulu.
With so much at stake in our world right now, more Americans turn here to David than anywhere else. And now, America's most trusted, most watched newscast, ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir, is available to you on YouTube.
Friday, Megan Maroney brings the party to GMA, kicking off your Labor Day weekend with a morning concert event. Friday, only on Good Morning America's Summer Concert Series, sponsored by Wayfair.
If you were coming of age in the 1980s, the Brat Pack was near the center of your cultural awareness. But for those of us experiencing it from the inside, the Brat Pack was something very different.
The critics agree.
Hated the Brat Pack. What a
disaster.
Why did we take it as an offense?
Andrew? I'm not going to say we were the Beatles or anything.
Well, we didn't fill Shea Stadium.
1985? I think we could have.
They both want to be your next president. Now, finally, Kamala Harris.
Do we believe in the promise of America?
Donald Trump.
We will soon be a great nation again.
Face to face, historic. The ABC News presidential debate, moderated by David Muir and Linsey Davis. Tuesday, September 10th, live on ABC and streaming on ABC News Live, Hulu, and Disney+. The ABC News presidential debate.
Welcome back. A small group of homeowners in Alabama who we've been following thought no one was listening to their concerns about a newly widened highway that they say has been flooding their homes even before the road was finished. The hard-working people of Shiloh, including a veteran in retirement, thought they were just too small for anyone else to care. And they believe that because they're black, the state of Alabama that built the highway is treating them differently. In tonight's Prime Focus, senior national correspondent Steve Osunsami revisits Shiloh as a federal civil rights investigation looks into whether what's happening there is environmental racism. After our report last fall on this program, the nation's top transportation officials took notice, and some people in high places decided to go visit this small town for themselves. Here's that story.
It's a warm Tuesday night in southern Alabama, in a place where they feel that both time and America have forgotten, and where the skies are about to open up.
Tuesday evening, still dry at this point, but showers and storms start to roll in around midnight. I think we're going to have more of a line, or at least a broken line of storms moving through from midnight through about 3 a.m. and beyond us by 6 a.m.
For most people, the rain shower that's coming wouldn't mean much at all. But for the landowners who we first told you about in our investigation from last October, who live below this newly built highway, even the smell of wet air makes everyone worry.
I'll probably end up getting a call if it starts raining hard. My neighbors will start calling and want me to run out here.
Pastor Timothy Williams is leading his neighbors in their fight against state officials who built the new freeway that he says put them in a bowl that fills with water anytime it rains. And they're getting ready for a big day. The highest transportation officials in the land have heard their call and are coming to visit in the morning.
They'll see, hey, we're not exaggerating. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't make this up.
The next morning, the rain had passed and the water was still draining when the out-of-town SUVs pulled in with the head of the Federal Highway Administration, an Assistant Secretary of Transportation, and then the U.S. Transportation Secretary himself.
Hello. How you doing?
How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Nice to be with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to learn a thing or two here.
Yes, sir. I will.
This feels like a big deal.
And the water just goes crazy from the highway.
Because with his presence here, just a day after visiting the bridge collapse in Baltimore, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is putting pressure on Alabama officials who the families say aren't listening.
Yeah.
So however much builds up here, it's coming.
Everything. Yes, sir.
Nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go. But over on us. We have a retention problem. The state did this to us, brought these rocks in here, put all these rocks here. This is a snake bed right here. Snakes hang in this.
Already, people under him in Washington have launched a civil rights investigation looking into accusations from the black property owners here who say that the state of Alabama racially discriminated against them when they widened the highway and failed to stop the water.
We're very mindful, and this comes from the top, that everything we do needs to benefit everybody fairly.
Only 2 hours, and this is the amount of water that comes through our property here from over on the other side of the road.
They call this place Shiloh, a name from the Hebrew Bible, a rare community of about a dozen black American families who've owned their land since the end of slavery.
And this is what it looked like. I feel sorry for my neighbors over there. It has made a pond over there in their yard.
They say the water started getting inside their homes after the state turned an old dirt road into 2 new lanes of U.S. Highway 84 that now runs from Georgia to New Mexico. In all, they own about 700 acres east of a town called Elba, just 2 hours north of the Alabama-Florida line. When we were here last, we saw the flooding for ourselves in real time.
We're going to see how the water's rolling down from the highway, the state highway.
Pastor Williams is praying these federal officials will help stop their homes from sinking. And he may need the faith of Moses in the struggle. Already, he says this has cost him business at his family's restaurant and cleaning service. He explains that he's no longer appreciated by some of his white neighbors because he won't let this go and because he keeps talking with us.
Is this what you might call environmental racism?
Yes, sir. This is racism. It's no other way around it. And then they don't even want to correct the problem.
His oldest daughter was 16 years old when the flooding started. She's now 22. People want you to just...
Quit talking.
Quit talking. Yeah. She and her sisters are supposed to inherit this land.
I actually didn't sleep last night.
Just last night?
Just last night.
Because it was raining last night.
Yes, it was a light rain, but still was, is it gonna come down some more? Is it gonna pour down some more? You know, is it gonna get heavier? What's gonna happen? So I'm trying not to get emotional.
Oh. It's okay. It's okay. This is where you live, and so you are gonna get emotional about this.
It's now to the point where we use a wet vac, and we have to suction up the water and pour it out. So it's gotten worse for sure.
How hard has it been on your father?
Very hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. See him go through it as I don't want to say as a child, but as a teenager, I seen it, but I'm a young adult now. It's still hard. He has a lot on his plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to see that as his child. Yes.
As we first reported, even before the road crews had finished their work, our investigation found electronic diaries, sometimes weekly notes from state employees, showing that they were already getting complaints about the flooding from the families here. From the sky, it's easy to see how all the drains from the freeway empty the water out onto their side of the highway, sometimes pointing it directly at their homes, which are about 15 feet below the road. And researchers from our data journalism unit at our own stations found that normally the families here would only have a 4% chance of flooding every year versus the sometimes weekly flooding they've seen every year since the highway construction. About 4 years ago, some of the black families agreed to settlements with the state where no one was paid more than $5,000, and the state didn't promise to change a thing. But up the road, the state bought out a white family that owned this daycare that was also flooding for $165,000. Peggy Carpenter and her mother Rhonda say it's wrong how little the state is helping the families in Shiloh.
$5,000? That's ridiculous. Oh my goodness. That's ridiculous.
They feel that race had something to do with it. What do you both feel?
Really don't know.
I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. But I don't put it past.
No, I don't.
I mean, I don't.
Federal highway investigators say that these civil rights investigations are a great deal of work, and each year they take on about a dozen of them that can last longer than they hope. And if the administration changes after the November election, their priorities could change too. The Transportation Secretary is telling homeowners here he's going to lean on the state.
I came here to see for myself what was going on so that I can be better positioned to make sure that we can engage the state of Alabama in meeting their responsibilities to this community and to make sure that these community members are not left behind.
So you agree that it's the highway that caused this?
I can't say anything about the investigation that's underway right now, so I gotta be color within the lines. But let me say this: we have a significant and substantial concern about the impact of the highway on this community and about what members of this community are going through. That is part of why there is an active investigation and active engagement with the Alabama DOT. The experiences of a homeowner here in this Shiloh community matter just as much as anybody else in the wealthiest zip code in America. But the bottom line is, people who live here need to be taken care of.
In a statement to ABC News, the Alabama Department of Transportation says that they're working with the Federal Highway Administration to provide facts about the Highway 84 widening project and the concerns expressed by residents of the Shiloh community, and that we are working with a nationally recognized engineering firm to develop plans for further controlling stormwater runoff from the road. In a statement to our affiliate station, WDHN, they say that we do not believe any unfair treatment or discrimination has occurred. They also say that while we believe Shiloh property owners have been adequately compensated for any inconvenience caused by AlDOT's Highway 84 project, we are planning to offer the residents protesting about the drainage the option of either selling their properties to AlDOT or have us implement a project to retain additional water on the state right-of-way. The choice will be theirs. The Williams family says what they need from the state is a better choice. They would like money to rebuild.
What you're talking about doing is, this is a loss.
Right.
And so you would build again in a drier spot, slightly drier, but up.
Yeah, we'll elevate it. You'll take it up two blocks up, and then you will slant and slope everything where it won't even come into your home. Because we're not going nowhere. We're not going to leave our property.
He says it's their God-given right to keep the land that his family has owned for the last 150 years.
Ben Jealous, the executive director of the Sierra Club, will be in Shiloh tomorrow to see the community for himself. The Sierra Club is one of the nation's oldest and most influential environmental organizations. Our thanks to Steve for that report. We still have much more to get to here on Prime. Coming up, controversy on the court ahead of the U.S. Open after the world's #1 tennis player tested positive for a banned substance earlier this year, twice, yet will still compete. But next, does where you live determine how long you live? We break down the answer by the numbers.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions.
Operational nuclear reactor.
So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it. How important is this label right here, Made in the USA?
Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you. Thank you.
David, good to meet you.
Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir. I know who you are. You Watch do? you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Stephan Bourbon was this titan of the true crime industry.
But the story was never consistent.
All these fans were combing through his stuff. His career is built on lies.
It is unfolding in front of us.
Is it dangerous?
I needed to hear what he had to say about it all. Am I about to step into this chamber of horrors?
Kelsey Turner was a rising Insta model.
Kelsey definitely wanted to be famous.
She would do anything to get what she was due.
A beloved child psychiatrist, missing. An Instagram model, missing.
There was a body in the trunk, clean-cut guy. They don't normally end up beat to death in trunks of cars.
Sometimes we have to realize there's evil in this world.
Now, Friday night.
You're witness to a murder. So what happened next?
2020. Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC. ABC News Live. Honored with 8 Emmy nominations. More than any other streaming news network. And ABC News Live Prime with Linsey Davis. The first and only streaming show nominated for Best Outstanding Live News Program. Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
The countdown is on. Tuesday, September 3rd, The View's on the move into a new big season.
You never know what's going to happen here.
Right here on ABC.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, start here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food.
It's all coming up on GMA3.
You're gonna love it. We'll see you then.
GMA3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know.
I love that.
Me too.
I'm Matt Rivers, traveling with the U.S. Secretary of State in Beijing, China. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
The CDC has crunched the numbers on U.S. mortality statistics and Medicare data, and they've found a disturbing outlook for aging in the U.S. We have a look at some of the details by the numbers. Babies born in 2021 can expect to live to a little over 76 years old. That ranks the U.S. behind more than 100 other countries on life expectancy and far behind #1, Monaco, with a lifespan of nearly 90, and that's according to the CIA World Factbook. Where you live can make a big difference in how long you live. Life expectancy in Mississippi is less than 71 years. West Virginia and Alabama are only slightly longer lived. In all 3 southern states, life expectancy is worse than the 73 years expected for people in the Palestinian territories. But the average person in Hawaii is projected to make it to nearly 80 years old. Residents of Massachusetts and Connecticut are also projected to live well past 79. The projections fluctuate. Alaska saw life expectancy drop more than 2% this year. West Virginia and New Mexico also had downturns, while New Jersey's life expectancy rose 1.5% and New York's rose nearly as much. Experts say U.S. life expectancy is impacted by several factors, including COVID, fentanyl overdose deaths, a higher rate of gun crime and suicides, and higher rates of diseases like obesity that raise the risk of life-shortening conditions. We still have much more to get to here on Prime. The grocery store ending all tobacco sales, and it's also encouraging customers to quit. And also an emotional trip over decades that focuses on the power of friendship. Our conversation with the stars of the new film, The Supremes, at Earl's All You Can Eat.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas,
Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw.
Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation.
You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
Santa Fe, New Mexico. Raleigh, North Carolina. The U.S. Capitol. Mayfield, Kentucky. Minneapolis.
Mexico. Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
Kelsey Turner was a rising Insta model.
Kelsey definitely wanted to be famous.
She would do anything to get what she was due.
A beloved child psychiatrist, missing. An Instagram model, missing.
There was a body in the trunk, clean-cut guy. They don't normally end up beat to death in trunks of cars.
Sometimes we have to realize there's evil in this world.
Now, Friday night.
You're a witness to a murder. So what happened next?
2020, Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Let's go.
The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, dead ahead. Tag on!
We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
Baywatch is a fantasy.
When you hear that theme song, it was a wild time, and I was a wild chick.
Jason Momoa exploded.
Carmen was a bombshell.
Pamela Anderson was an icon.
I'm really proud of everything I've done. Almost.
Baywatch was a whirlwind of epic highs and bitter lows.
Everyone likes to watch sexy things.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're gonna love it.
They both want to be your next president. Now, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, face to face. The ABC News presidential debate, moderated by David Muir and Linsey Davis. Tuesday, September 10th, live on ABC and streaming on Hulu and Disney+.
Welcome back. A woman caught on video hopping a zoo fence to taunt a tiger has been charged. The grocery store putting an end to tobacco sales. And Little League history is made by a triumphant Florida team. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
A New Jersey woman has been charged with trespassing after being accused of illegally climbing into a zoo enclosure last week. Police say video shows her hopping a fence and entering a restricted area adjacent to both the tiger and bear enclosures after going over the wooden fence that holds two 500-pound Bengal tigers. She then began enticing one of the tigers by putting her hand through the wire enclosure. Police said that they were also given a similar video depicting the same scenario at the bear enclosure the same day involving the same person. It's been 3 years since the chaotic withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan. A suicide bomber killed 13 U.S. troops and hundreds of civilians trying to escape from the Kabul airport. The 13 service members who lost their lives were honored by former President Trump, who laid a wreath at Arlington National Cemetery in their memory. President Biden released a statement saying the fallen soldiers were the very best of who we are as a nation. The Trump administration's negotiated peace plan with the Taliban included a date of May 1st, 2021 for the final withdrawal of troops, which Biden then continued to carry out with a September deadline. Stop & Shop announced today it will stop selling all cigarettes and tobacco products at its 360 stores. The grocery retailer, with stores across Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey, plans to end sales of all tobacco products at all stores by August 31st as part of the brand's commitment to community wellness. Stop & Shop is also encouraging customers to quit smoking by hosting 2 cigarette buyback events on August 28th. Oasis frontrunners and brothers Noel and Liam Gallagher have teased the band's reunion on social media. They both posted short videos showing the date 27/08/24 with the time 8 a.m. in the same font as the band's logo. The Oasis account on X also posted the video. The duo have been feuding for almost 15 years since their falling out after a concert in Paris. The band performed for years and defined the Britpop sound in the 90s and early 2000s. Florida's Little League Baseball came from behind to beat Taiwan 2-1 in the Little League World Series championship game. Taiwan was leading by 1 run for most of the game until a game-tying run was scored in the 6th inning. The game then went into extra innings, and finally a ground ball down the line allowed Florida to score the winning run. This is the first championship in 9 tries for Florida. Former Yale swimmer Allie Truitt was attacked by a shark more than a year ago while snorkeling in the ocean off Turks and Caicos. Now she's set to compete in the Paralympics in Paris. Truitt's leg was amputated after the shark bite, but the damage from the incident affected her in other ways. Her first step to recovery was to overcome her newfound fear of water. After working with therapists and strength coaches, the collegiate swimmer was ready to compete again. She qualified for the Paralympics in Paris and is ready to make her debut alongside Team USA.
The world's best tennis players are in New York for the U.S. Open, and with matches beginning today, there is growing turmoil surrounding the top men's singles player. Lara Spencer reports.
As the U.S. Open gets underway, a firestorm surrounding men's world #1, Jannik Sinner, who is cleared to play despite testing positive twice for a banned substance.
In my mind, I know that I haven't done anything wrong. I always respected these rules, and I always will respect these rules of anti-doping.
The International Tennis Integrity Agency revealing last week that the Italian received not 1, but 2 positive doping tests back in March for clostebol, a banned steroid. However, the agency absolved Sinner of any wrongdoing, explaining that the steroid entered his system unintentionally when his physiotherapist gave him a massage. Sinner has since fired both his trainer and his physiotherapist.
I know sometimes the frustration of other players, obviously, but maybe because they got suspended, they didn't know exactly where it comes from. We knew it straight away, and we were aware of what happened.
Former Wimbledon finalist Nick Kyrgios blasting the decision on X, writing, "Ridiculous, whether it was accidental or planned. You get tested twice with a banned steroid substance, you should be gone for 2 years." And others demanding fairness and transparency.
I can understand the sentiments of a lot of players that are questioning whether they are treated the same.
I just think that it should be consistent across the board with bans and who gets banned.
While Sinner serves through adversity on the men's side,
get up, Coco Gauff. You've just won the U.S. Open.
American Coco Gauff hoping to defend the women's singles title she won in dramatic fashion last year.
Obviously, coming in as defending champion is a little bit of pressure, but also more of a privilege, because as my new motto is, like, if you defend, that means you won something before. So I'm excited to be back here and hopefully have a good 2 weeks.
Should be a great week. Our thanks to Lara. It is time tonight for the latest in our series, Streamlined, where we take you behind some of the biggest films and TV series hitting screens worldwide. Our next guests are 2 powerhouse talents who have captivated audiences with their powerful performances across film and television. They have dazzled audiences with their roles in hits such as Love and Basketball, Lovecraft Country, and they are here now to discuss their latest roles in a story about friendship and resilience and the ties that bind us for a lifetime. Take a look.
Fate might have put me on a one-way street, but I was destined to walk that street well loved with my girl Clarice and our best friend Barbara Jean.
Look at the 3 of y'all walking in here all pretty and shiny. Remind me of the Supreme. Bumping girls, all you can eat.
We still look as good as we did back in the day.
That's right. Come on. So good. I want to keep watching. Oh my God. How do you guys feel about seeing that?
It's funny.
It's
right?
funny.
Yes.
Obviously, we've got Anjanou Ellis-Taylor and Sanaa Lathan joining us in studio to talk about their new film, The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. Welcome, ladies. This story revolves around friendship, and we can see in that clip that you've got that tight bond. How did you prepare for a role like this? How did you prepare to show the world that this friendship on screen?
I've known Anjanou for almost 30 years, and just our paths crossing as actresses in this business, and have just admired her career from afar. And so there was that history, and also there's a kind of a shared just knowledge of the work. And, you know, sometimes when you have a great script, sometimes you could just show up on set and it's right there, right in front of the camera. But we did have some time with Uzo before to sit down and talk about the characters and the stories and why this was important to us. But really, it was really a matter of just doing the work.
Now, your character seems to be very central, a central part of this friend group. Talk about your character and this and the anchor that your character is within the group of these 3 women.
I think you said the word anchor. You said, where were you this morning? Where have you been since I've been talking about this thing?
I know you've been busy. We've both been busy. Yes, saw you at GMA this morning.
You know, I could have used that word because they asked for one word.
Yes,
I could have used that word. So yeah, I think she's the anchor. I mean, not just to these group of friends, but this community that really revolves around the friendship between Clarice, Barbara Jean, and Odette. And I think the film shows that the beauty of this friendship is a group of women saying, you can be your full self with me. You don't have to hide. You don't have to hide your pain. I'm here to hold it for you as well.
So now your character has said, there's a line about your character that says that fate seemed to be picking on her.
Yes.
How do you prepare as an actor to portray such an intense and emotional character, to just get into that being?
We draw from life experiences and as well as people we know and ourselves. She deals with so much trauma that there's a period in her life where she starts self-medicating with alcohol. You call her alcoholic, you know. But it's really to numb the pain that she's been through. I've seen that in my family. I've gone through periods of that. So it was easy to relate to her and kind of cathartic to play her.
This film portrays, obviously, the experience of African-American women in this small Midwestern town over several decades. How do you hope this film contributes to this broader narrative of Black women in film telling their stories in cinema?
Well, I would say this Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat shouldn't feel like a shot in the dark. It shouldn't, no, not shot in the dark. It shouldn't feel flung from space. You know, it shouldn't feel like an outlier. It should be the norm.
You can't put us in a box. We all have different experiences, different traumas, different joys. And it's really a celebration of that and a celebration of those friends that you call family, the ones that, you know, they're kind of like other soulmates.
Thank you both so much for
us.
being here. It's so lovely to meet you. The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat is streaming right now on Hulu. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Stephanie Ramos. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, we are just 71 days away from the presidential election. Tonight, the battleground visit for Donald Trump and major endorsements for Vice President Kamala Harris. And the massive blaze in London that sent hundreds of firefighters rushing to the scene.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here. Nightline, the stories that shape your world, that shape your life. Dramatic, stunning, empowering, jaw-dropping. The most powerful stories of our time. Nightline, on right after Kimmel and streaming on Hulu. Now streaming on Hulu.
I'm a rock and roll star. I'm not a saint. I'm John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi, the new special, what you have not yet seen. John Bon Jovi with Michael Strahan. Now streaming on Hulu. Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland, let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there. You're streaming. ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
Baywatch is a fantasy.
Baywatch was sexy.
Baywatch was the #1 show in the world. When you hear that theme song,
I had no idea how much fun I was going to have. It was addicting. People were just eating that stuff alive.
It was a wild time, and I was a wild chick. Jason Momoa exploded.
Carmen was a bombshell.
Pamela Anderson was an icon.
Pamela was the sweet girl from Canada who came to get the American dream.
I'm really proud of everything I've done. Almost.
Baywatch was a whirlwind of epic highs and bitter lows.
It was a lot of pressure.
Everybody was disposable, and if you didn't fit into their brand, you were gone.
Greed, lust, fame.
Everyone likes to watch sexy things.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland.
Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Stephanie Ramos, in for Linsey Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We've got a lot of news to get to this evening, including a high school quarterback dies after being critically injured during a game. The details on his injuries. Plus, flames climb up a tower in London, with residents evacuating the building as hundreds of firefighters battle the blaze. And how a sign of America's Confederate past is being replaced with a leader who helped usher in the future. But we begin with the race for the White House. We are just 71 days away from Election Day, and tonight, former President Trump is using the 3rd anniversary of the deadly Afghanistan withdrawal to blame Kamala Harris. Trump participated in a wreath-laying ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery this morning. Then the former president headed to Michigan, where he spoke at the annual meeting of the National Guard, vowing to fire every senior official involved. Meantime, tonight, the major endorsement for Kamala Harris. More than 200 GOP advisors and alums endorsing her this evening. Terry Moran leads us off from Michigan.
At the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery today, Donald Trump laid a wreath in honor of 3 Marines who were among the 13 service members killed 3 years ago today during the chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. And later, speaking at the National Guard Association's convention in Detroit, Trump made that botched operation and the Taliban's swift takeover a centerpiece of his argument against Vice President Kamala Harris.
Caused by Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, the humiliation in Afghanistan set off the collapse of American credibility and respect all around the world.
Trump declared that if he's reelected, there will be accountability.
We'll get the resignations of every single senior official who touched the Afghanistan calamity to be on my desk at noon on Inauguration Day. You know, you have to fire people. You have to fire people when they do a bad job. We never fire anybody.
At the Democratic National Convention, Harris made it clear she is ready to fend off attacks on her toughness on national security.
As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
Harris has been off the campaign trail since the convention wrapped up, but Trump has been revving up the pace of his campaign. Later this week, he'll travel to Wisconsin before returning here to Michigan on Thursday, telling some of his campaign's volunteers here late today that this critical battleground state could decide the entire election.
If we can win this state, we win the whole thing. We win the whole thing. We're going to win the whole thing.
And Terry Moran joins us now from Detroit. Terry, it seems as though former President Donald Trump is zeroing in on those Rust Belt battleground states, and so is Vice President Kamala Harris.
That's for sure, Stephanie. There aren't that many battleground states. It's a 50-50 country right across the country. And there's no question that these three states, right, Michigan here, Wisconsin across the lake, and Pennsylvania past Ohio, those are critical. But so is Georgia. So Kamala Harris, she was in Wisconsin last week during the convention. And she and Tim Walz later this week are going to go on a bus tour of southern Georgia, try to lock up or at least find some more votes in that critical state. Donald Trump, meanwhile, he's going to be back here in Michigan and in Wisconsin, so you can see the battle is joined. Stephanie?
Absolutely. Critical states, we will see which way they go. Terry, thank you. Now to the deadly storms and the landslide in Alaska as they braced for more, plus the torrential rains rushing through the Grand Canyon area. Here's ABC's Mola Lengi.
Tonight, authorities in Ketchikan, Alaska, warning of more mudslides after a wall of earth, rocks, and debris rained down on the normally picturesque city, destroying multiple homes.
This just happened. Tree just went down.
Leah Canfield recording this just after it hit.
I thought it was lightning. Then all of a sudden our house started shaking.
Families forced to flee, some to shelters. Authorities say at least one person was killed, 3 more hurt.
The flooding is only getting worse, man.
The mudslides coming after torrential rains swamped the area, nearly 10 inches falling in higher elevations. Recent torrential monsoon rains also to blame for a death near the Grand Canyon. Hikers had to shelter under rock formations while a nearby waterfall was raging. The National Guard aiding the rescue efforts, evacuating more than 100 tourists and tribal community members. 33-year-old Shanoa Nickerson from Gilbert, Arizona, was swept away in the floodwaters. She did not survive. Her sister writing, "Shanoa's light will forever be a part of all of us."
Mola Lengi reporting for us. Thank you, Mola. From landslides to blistering heat waves, temperatures topping 100, the feel-like temperatures as high as 115, and there will be little relief overnight. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z is tracking it all for us. Hey there, Ginger.
Stephanie, tonight's excessive heat warnings come with even more gravity because we just learned from the American Medical Association, a journal called JAMS, that they have confirmed that more than 2,300 people died from heat-related illness in the United States just last year. That is a record number, and a record by a lot. We're seeing more and more people die, even indoors, because they don't have access to air conditioning, or maybe they spend too much time outdoors and they haven't seen this type of prolonged heat. That's why areas that are highlighted on the map there, from Michigan through northwest Indiana back to St. Louis, much of Illinois, and southern Wisconsin, need to be extra alert. Check on those neighbors. In the afternoons, you're going to see the temperatures rise, and you'll see the feels likes, which your body, can't get rid of sweat because of how much humidity's in the air, upwards of 110 or 115. Overnight lows don't drop below 80 in some places, so there's no relief. And records will keep falling and moving east, like Atlanta close to 100 on Thursday. Look at Washington, D.C. I mentioned those overnight lows. In a place like Detroit, we have seen those rise nearly 6 degrees from 1970. So that's how quickly urbanization plus the warming of our planet has left us. And so more than 2 times faster in the summer, those overnight lows have gone. We're only going to break this up with some severe weather. Damaging winds, the main hazard tonight from South Dakota over to Minnesota. The Twin Cities have 2 ways of getting warnings. And Stephanie, the Great Lakes gets it tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, it moves through Pennsylvania, right here to New York.
Extreme weather everywhere. We really have to be so careful, especially in that heat. Ginger, thanks so much. Let's go overseas now to the war in Ukraine. After Ukraine pushed deep inside Russia, tonight Russia is slamming Ukraine with the largest aerial assault so far, striking power plants and water supplies. Here's our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell.
Tonight, Russia unleashing its largest aerial attack across Ukraine since the start of the war. More than 230 missiles and drones, many intercepted. Striking critical power and water plants, including this one in Kyiv. These videos verified by ABC News. And here, a Russian cruise missile exploding in a river near that plant. At least 7 killed, dozens injured, including 4 children. The attack coming 3 weeks after Ukraine's surprise offensive inside Russia. We were near the border in recent days.
You can see an American Humvee there heading into Russia and conducted possibly the most audacious operation of this war so far.
But America and allies limiting how far into Russia Ukraine's military aid can be used. President Zelensky today pleading with them to lift the limitations. And amid Russia's relentless assault, residents in Kyiv singing the city's official anthem in the subway. Ukraine bowed, but not broken.
Now to the Middle East, where tensions are high after some of the heaviest cross-border attacks in months between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. I want to bring in ABC's Britt Clennett, who is in Israel tonight. And Britt, has Iran signaled they plan to retaliate at all?
Yes, Stephanie, an all-out war between Israel and Hezbollah may have been averted for now, but Iran now doubling down on its threats to strike Israel in response to the assassination of Hamas's political leader in Tehran nearly a month ago. Iran's foreign minister says a retaliation is definitive and will be measured and calculated. Now, U.S. General Brown meeting with Israel's defense minister today, reaffirming American commitment to Israel's defense, and the Pentagon saying 2 aircraft carrier strike groups will remain in the region as the threats from Iran are assessed. While it seems these talks we've been talking about are on the verge of collapse yet again, sources telling us Netanyahu will send a delegation to Cairo again this week. Stephanie?
Britt Clennett for us in Tel Aviv. Britt, thank you. The former deputy charged in the killing of Sonia Massey is fighting for a pretrial release. The legal team of Sean Grayson notified the court that they will appeal the judge's decision to deny his pretrial release with the Illinois Supreme Court. In Monday's hearing, the defense requested more time for discovery, the exchange of information between the prosecution and defense about witnesses and evidence. In their latest request, they argued that Grayson is undergoing cancer treatment and will not receive the proper care. A high school quarterback in Alabama died after he was critically injured during his team's season opener. Caden Tellier went down during the third quarter in what seemed to be a routine play, but the 16-year-old suffered a significant brain injury. ABC's Faith Abube has the story.
Tonight, a family and community shaken after Caden Tellier, a 16-year-old high school quarterback, died following a routine tackle during the first football game of the season.
There are a lot of questions that I know that I have. We need your love. We need your support.
His father, visibly heartbroken, joining students and staff today at a vigil.
Caden was kind. He was compassionate. He loved every person that he encountered.
An official telling ABC News late in their season opener, Caden was tackled to the ground, suffering a critical brain injury. Emergency crews airlifting the teenager to the hospital where he later died. Caden seen here in this highlight reel he posted online. He was a junior and the starting quarterback at Morgan Academy in Selma, Alabama, scoring a touchdown Friday night during the game. His tragic death comes as the new school year begins and football season kicks into gear. The National Center for Catastrophic Sports Injury Research finding that deaths during games are rare. Last year, out of nearly 2 million players from youth leagues to the NFL, there were 16 reported fatalities.
Our thanks to Faith for that report. Tonight, the space mission that was supposed to be just 8 days now will be at least 8 months. NASA deeming Boeing's test spacecraft too risky for astronauts to fly back home. Trevor Alt has these details.
Tonight, what was supposed to be a week-long space mission now extended into next year. NASA determining it would be too risky for the Boeing Starliner to return to Earth, with astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams after their June test flight to the International Space Station suffered helium leaks and problems with the control thrusters. The astronauts' mission was slated for just 8 days. They've already been in space for 80, and now NASA says they'll remain in orbit until February.
This has not been an easy decision, but it is absolutely the right one.
They'll be flying home with one of Boeing's competitors on board a SpaceX Crew Dragon.
Meantime, right now here at Kennedy Space Center, SpaceX is prepping for a separate launch. The Polaris Dawn mission on its Falcon 9 rocket. You can see it there in the distance. That's set to take off overnight with the intent to become the first private spacewalk ever.
Billionaire Jared Isaacman is footing part of the bill and serving as commander. The mission aims to go further into space than any crewed flight since Apollo 17 more than 50 years ago.
Our thanks to Trevor. Now to that dramatic extra innings walk-off win for Florida to capture the Little League World Series championship. ABC's Lara Spencer has more on this remarkable story.
He gets it down. Oh, it's perfect.
The Little League team from Lake Mary, Florida, waking up world champions.
And for the first time, Florida are Little League World Series champions.
taking the title in dramatic fashion, beating Chinese Taipei 2-1 in a come-from-behind win in extra innings.
Ripped off the glove of Feliciano. Long throw to first. It's off the mark. It's 1-0 Taipei.
Chinese Taipei was first on the board, scoring 1 run in the first inning and hanging on to that lead until Florida's last at-bat in the bottom of the 6th. The team representing the Southeast had their backs against the wall with runners on first and second when DJ Mieses stepped up to the plate.
You can't get any more intense than this. Oh, there's one to hit. This one shallow left field. It's going to get...
The 11-year-old with a hit, giving Chase Anderson a chance to sprint home, scoring the tying run.
We're tied and safe at third base.
The game remained tied until this historic bunt in the bottom of the 8th. And the celebration was on. Fans at home in Lake Mary celebrating the win, a first for Florida.
They don't stop. They don't stop. So all we had to do was just believe and do everything that we were created to do, what we built ourselves to do, what we practiced to do, and here we are.
For Florida, teamwork makes the dream work.
We just won the World Series, which is a dream for almost any 12-year-old, and this is just, it's amazing, the feeling right now. It's a dream come true. It really is.
It certainly is. Congrats to that Florida team, but all those kids did really, really well. Congrats. All right, we still have much more to get to here on Prime. Coming up, the devastating ice cave collapse that killed an American tourist. But up next, it is one of the greatest questions of mankind. Are we alone out here? Our conversation with the author of Imminent, Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs. Who says there might be an answer?
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere. From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland. Let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines. From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut. From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Baywatch is a fantasy. When you hear that theme song, it was a wild time, and I was a wild chick.
Jason Momoa
Exploded.
Carmen was a bombshell.
Pamela Anderson was an icon.
I'm really proud of everything I've done. Almost.
Baywatch was a whirlwind of epic highs and bitter lows.
Everyone likes to watch sexy things.
They both want to be your next president. Now, finally, Kamala Harris.
Do we believe in the promise of America?
Donald Trump.
We will soon be a great nation again.
Face to face. Historic. The ABC News presidential debate, moderated by David Muir and Linsey Davis. Tuesday, September 10th, live on ABC and streaming on ABC News Live, Hulu, and Disney+. The ABC News presidential debate.
Reporting from the 2024 Democratic Convention in Chicago, I'm Jay O'Brien. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
We're tracking several headlines around the world. In London, more than 200 firefighters were deployed to put out a blaze at a tower early this morning. The fire brigade assistant commissioner said 2 people were hospitalized and that the mixed-use building had been evacuated. The cause of the fire, which has been declared a major incident, is unknown. Venezuela's Attorney General's office said it has issued a second summons for opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez to attend questioning about a website which published detailed results of the country's disputed presidential election last month. Venezuela's National Electoral Authority and its top court have named President Nicolas Maduro as the victor of the July 28th election, but the tallies posted on the opposition website show a resounding victory for Gonzalez. Protests since the vote have have led to at least 27 deaths and 2,400 arrests. An American was killed after an ice cave in Iceland collapsed while it was being explored by tourists. The victim was part of a 25-member group from several countries who were in the natural cave located under a glacier when the incident occurred. The State Department released a statement offering its sincerest condolences. Unidentified flying objects have fueled decades of speculation and conspiracy theories. In his new book, Imminent: Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs, longtime Defense Department researcher Lou Elizondo, the former head of the Pentagon program responsible for the investigation of UFOs, now known as unidentified anomalous phenomena, reveals long-hidden truths with profound implications for not only national security, but our understanding of the universe. Joining us now is Lou Elizondo. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. So, Imminent tells the story of your courageous fight to make public what the government knows and doesn't know about UAPs. What made you want to write about this?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be able to tell the American public my experiences and what the government has been doing for a very long time, not just when I was in the program, but for decades, about the government's interest in UFOs, or now what we call UAP. You're absolutely right, unidentified anomalous phenomenon. The fact is, they're real, and they are a national security issue for this country.
And it's so interesting because many, many years ago, I worked at the Pentagon for ABC, and I remember getting a tour of some of the hallways, and somebody said, oh, that's where they study UFOs, UAPs, but it's top secret. Like, that's all they would say. So there's this secrecy approach to all of this, right? You write in your book, while there are valid reasons for secrecy around some aspects of UAPs, I do not think humanity should be kept in the dark about the fundamental fact that we are not the only intelligent life in the universe. So why do you think the United States government and other major governments have taken a secrecy approach to UAPs?
Sure. I think if we look at this temporally speaking, the U.S. government, when we started really looking at this, was at the height of the Cold War. And you had this contentious relationship at best with then Soviet Union. And what we didn't want to do was necessarily tip our hand to any information perhaps that we've gleaned from UAP or UFOs, and certainly perhaps any information gaps or maybe information that we don't know about the UFOs. So that's one reason. And then I think the other reason is that governments inherently are responsible for ensuring the protection of their people, of their citizens.
So Lou, for those who may be skeptical and are thinking, nope, there's no such thing as UFOs, it's non-existent, you're here to tell us that there is fact and research that they do exist.
Let's not forget, Stephanie, that we've had already a former director of national intelligence, a former director of the CIA, and even a former president of the United States all come out on the record and say, yeah, it looks like these things are real. Our very best, most sophisticated technology is picking these things up. We also have eyewitness testimony from our trained observers, our combat pilots, and then you've also got the radar data, all basically substantiating the same event at the same time, at the same place, under the same circumstances.
And so much technology that's been analyzed and researched. Now, let's talk about your own personal experience. You mentioned in this book that UAPs have appeared both in and around your home. How did these personal experiences influence your views on UAP, and what exactly did you see?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, let me preface, we're not sure if they are actually UAP related. What we do know is that a lot of people that were in the program that I was in also had very similar encounters while they were in the program. So not before and not after, but during the time that we were researching these UAP. And from our experience, when I say ours, I mean my family's and even our neighbors witnessed some of these, are these luminous green balls of light, very diffuse in nature, no hard edges, that would just seem to kind of peruse the house and go down the hall and go through a wall. I know it sounds rather bizarre. And look, there are absolutely possible natural explanations, right? You could say ball lightning or St. Elmo's fire or some sort of plasma static charge in the air. But the bottom line is it was very bizarre. It was witnessed by not only my family, but again, neighbors and other individuals who are part of our effort in the government also experienced very, very similar encounters at their residences.
Absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much, Lou, for sharing your experience and for documenting what you know and what you think we should all know in your book, Imminent: Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs, which is available now to purchase. Thanks, Lou.
My honor and privilege. Thank you.
And still to come, the new tribute to a civil rights icon that replaced a sign of division.
GMA's surprise people across the country, helping find thousands in unclaimed money.
This really is a big check.
Yeah! And this summer, we're at it again. That's incredible. Because nothing's better than hearing you say,
Show me the money!
On Good Morning America.
Let's go.
The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh. We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
Kelsey Turner was a rising Insta model.
Kelsey definitely wanted to be famous.
She would do anything to get what she was due.
A beloved child psychiatrist, missing. An Instagram model, missing.
There was a body in the trunk, clean-cut guy. They don't normally end up beat to death in trunks of cars.
Sometimes we have to realize there's evil in this world.
Now, Friday night.
You're witness to a murder. So what happened next?
2020, Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag... Not a tear in it. How important it made to USA. Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismael? David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast. ABC News Live, honored with 8 Emmy nominations, more than any other streaming news network. And ABC News Live Prime with Linsey Davis, the first and only streaming show nominated for Best Outstanding Live News Program. This is ABC News Live.
And finally tonight, a symbol of division replaced with one of unity. Mary Bruce reports.
For over a century, a Confederate monument loomed over this historic square in Decatur, Georgia. But now tonight, in its place stands tall a champion for equality, civil rights icon, late Congressman John Lewis.
I'm 82 years old, so I have seen a lot, and this is really good for us, and we are going to enjoy it.
The unveiling yesterday sparking cheers and joy. The moment, the culmination of a years-long plan to honor the hero who died in 2020. Lewis was one of the original Freedom Riders. He helped organize the March on Washington and was brutally beaten while peacefully marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge on what became known as Bloody Sunday.
Where once existed a monument to bigotry and hatred is being replaced by one of brotherhood and love and peace.
Lewis now memorialized in the 12-foot-tall bronze statue, his hands over his heart, his eyes closed. A fitting pose for the man who inspired so many, urging the next generation to get in, quote, good trouble, necessary trouble.
I just hope the young people who are going to be walking by, going to school every day in the city appreciate and understand his legacy and find a way to make good trouble.
A wonderful legacy left behind. Our thanks to Mary Bruce. That is our show for tonight. I'm Stephanie Ramos. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, on to abcnews.com. Have a good one.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town. From Lewis